I'm Claire and welcome back to my YouTube. Ooh, I'm holding my mic. What? Why? Okay, so this month I decided I wanted to do a no spend month. And by this month, I mean January. So last month, by the time you're watching this video. As you may or may not know, I broke a collarbone in the last week of November. Didn't complain about it at all, so you may be totally unaware. I was out of work for a total of, I think, 7 business days. That's rough. So when I was paid in the 3rd week of December for the work that I had done since the previous paycheck, it was quite a lot lighter than other paychecks. I thought, what a great month to try a no spend month, seeing as I'm going to be broke. First and foremost, much harder than expected. I kicked off the month by paying €29 for a taxi home from New Year's Eve, and then the very next day paying around the same for a hungover takeaway with Alex. So the month was off to a good start. Okay, today's my first full day back in the land of the living after Christmas, and I thought I was going to do better today with my first day out of the house. It's my no spending challenge, and I went to the hospital this morning to get my sling off, get my x-ray and see how my collarbone is healing, and I bought a coffee and then paid for parking without a second thought. And then later on the day I really wanted a Red Bull and some popcorn around the time that the 3 p.m. sun pit, and I couldn't get it. So yeah, I didn't think they'd go through. It's going to be a lot harder than I initially thought. Because I get paid in the 3rd week of the month, doing it in a month was across 2 paychecks for me, which was honestly the stupidest way to have done it. To extend my misery past payday. But anyway, I paid for a number of things in January that either were paying for things that were happening in the future or paying for things that I forgot about. I went to the hospital this morning to get my sling off. Then I got to work. There was a big red invoice in my email inbox that I'd forgotten to pay in December. So that was another 100 quid out the door. So I'm now down to like 300 quid. So this is not going well. I have already looked at stuff online that I wanted to buy that I haven't. So, you know, progress. In December, I also hired a personal trainer. So that was €100 a month. Not gonna lie, money well spent, but added to my outgoings. I also was planning on playing in a tag blitz in Limerick in February, so I coughed up for the accommodation in January. I'm planning to go to France to play tag in May and coughed up for the flights in January. Paid someone for accommodation for something in the future, and I cannot recall what it was. My car tax came up for renewal in January, which I was delighted about. Money owed to Alex, 129, then 125, and then 295. I cannot remember what that money was for. One thing on my card that I'm like, what is that? Sports surge 150? That's also not a small amount, but I have no idea what it is. Okay, I'm sorry for the shock that you're about to get by looking at my face. I got surgery yesterday. Specifically, I got a nose refracturing. That cost me €150 excess, which, to be honest, isn't that much. So it's like great that it, you know, my health insurance covers that much of it. Drugs that I had to get cost me $34.57, and I'm just fucking fed up with this no spend month, man. And just fucking piss off. Like, I haven't saved any money because for some reason it just happened to be the the month that I needed the most expenditure. Like, it's actually crazy. When I get paid, I still have to pay out €300 or €400. Like, I know that it has helped because I haven't been buying stuff, so I've spent less. But I've still spent an awful lot. Like, I've still dipped into my savings. I'm still fucking spending. Why did I pick January? January is 5 weeks long. What was I thinking? Like, I'm miserable. I'm not miserable, but like, I'm not delighted that I can't go and like buy something to make me feel better without feeling guilty about it. Rage. Money owed to Alex, 129, then 125, and then 295. I cannot remember what that money was for. I know that every week Alex pays for the shop and I pay him half of it back, but I also know that Alex loans me money on the regular and I pay back to him in chunks. So what I should really do is stop borrowing money from my husband. That is something that's very clear to me from tracking my spending for this month. The night before tag, I got into an argument with Alex because he was telling me about all the money that I owe him, and I got annoyed with him. And then after tag, we got a takeaway because we came home so late that Alex was like, I'm not making food. And then I was like, well, I've already made my one dish that I can make today, which is pasta. I don't want another plate of pasta. so we got a takeaway. So this no spend January is a fucking nightmare. I'm doing so badly at it. So badly. We actually probably have got more takeaways this month, as I said to Alex earlier, than the 3 months before Christmas. I'm training with the Ireland Touch Rugby Women's 27s team, and as part of that you have to pay instalment plans, so if you get selected for the tournament you have it paid off by the time you get selected. On the bright side, if you don't get selected, you do get that back, so it's like a savings scheme, but it did mean another 150 out of the kitty in January. I'm on my way to Alone to Touch training. That cost me 25 quid, which I had to scrape together to borrow some money, take some from my account, take some from my backup vault. So €20 petrol, and then I got a coffee and a breakfast bar. Pretty sure down here they're probably going to ask me for the latest instalment towards the Euros competition. Which would be €150, and I do not have it. Like, I do not have it. To be fair, I will have it after payday, but like, I've done this the wrong way, man. I think you need to do the month from payday to payday, because I have literally just put everything that I cannot pay right now on the long finger till after payday. So I'm also gonna have a rough February. Okay, so I'm home. I spent a fortune today. On my way home I stopped and I got a coffee to keep me awake for the drive home, and a sandwich because I'd been standing watching touch training in the cold all day, so I was hungry. In the car on the way home I went to eat the sandwich, and my throat, which had been increasingly sore, it had been really sore ever since surgery, but it had been getting sorer and sorer all day. I felt like the sandwich tore my throat open. And when I got home, Alex was like, obviously you shouldn't eat a sandwich if your throat's sore. But like, I'm sorry, did I miss that class where people were told that? I couldn't get over how sore my throat was, and I tried to have some water, and every time I swallowed, it felt like my throat was on fire. And I landed in Dublin just before 6, so I managed to get into the chemist, scrape together the last of the money from my current account into my Revolut, together with my metal cashback that I've been like building for ages. I went and I bought Strepsils spray for my throat to numb it, and Bonjela for the ulcers that are appearing in my mouth. And then I came home and took a rake load of painkillers. But the grand total for what was spent today because of all of those things, for the Bonjela and the stuff for my sore throat, €14.15. My sandwich and my coffee that kicked off this issue, €6. Chips at lunchtime in AIT, €3. For petrol, a breakfast bar and a coffee this morning to get there was €25.81. 50 quid. Spent €50 today and only had €60 left in my account. Today is payday. Today is also the day I get this off, unrelated, but today is payday, which means it's spend day. I have so much money to spend today. I have so many bills to be paid today. Getting that off my nose cost me €80, and my pay is not in my account, so I have to ring Alex and use his credit card. This is bad. Through a friend who follows these things, I discovered that there is a no debt community on Instagram in Ireland, and what this community is trying to do, obviously, is get out of debt. They talk a lot about no spend days and no spend months. They talk about, you know, sinking money into their debt, how much money they got off their debt that month, blah blah blah. And around the same time as well, some media interest sparked up in this no debt thing, because I saw an article going around being like, I saved €27,000 from a no spend year. And can I just say, not to spoiler alert the rest of the video, but if I had to do a no spend year, it actually wouldn't be worth 27,000 to me. It was fucking miserable. Alex and I got invited to a dinner at the end of the month that would have been €55 each, and I said no because I was on a no spend challenge, and then Alex was like, oh, you didn't tell me that, so like I assume I'm paying the bill for myself. I was like, no, I'll pay my half of the bills. I'm not saying it didn't have its positives, because actually quite a few positives, but like, I think I could only stomach doing that short term. First week here going real well. And now I'm on my way to the gym and I'm starving, absolutely starving. I got a headache, I'm tired, and I think it's because I'm hungry. So I've got a protein bar, which was $2.75. I got some popcorn because I can't resist that popcorn anytime I eat, and then I got an energy drink to try and
wake me up a bit. Although I don't think Powerade actually wakes you up. I think like Red Bull would wake me up, but I'm also trying to be good health-wise, so can't be having Red Bulls every day. Not that a Powerade is much better, but it's meant to be. This one is at least meant to be a sports drink. Speaking of which, I also had a Blue Waker last night. To be fair, I didn't pay for it, but I don't think that counts. I don't think like getting people to buy your drinks is in the spirit of no spend either. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, I also had a glass of wine the previous night. Paid for by my mother-in-law, so happy days. Also, last night we had to pay for something that's happening in March. We had to pay for the accommodation. So that was another 85 euros out of my account, so I now have 0 left.
There were things that I felt I had to buy, like a support for my injury when I tried to return to sport and stuff like that.
So I bought this. I mean, it's technically necessary, but it's also technically tertiary spending. Is that the right word? The reason that I bought that support is because I'm returning to reffing tonight. I'm attempting to return to ref.
But I did bring something back. When I got the wrong size support, I did bring it back and get 47.20 back, and that is like a big deal for me because normally I just eat the loss.
And last night I got really mad because Alex laughed at me because he was telling me that the shoulder support that I had bought for 42 euro, my last 42 euro as well, he was saying that it was too big and that you're not supposed to wear them outside your clothes, they're actually supposed to be on your body and skin tight, which I didn't know. So I brought it back. And the only reason that I brought it back is because I'm in a no spend month and I can't afford to waste 42 euro. I know I should be living that life all the time, but I normally don't bring stuff back like that because I find it really embarrassing. I brought back that shoulder support. But yeah, brought it back, did not enjoy the experience. Did enjoy getting the money back. On the bright side.
One thing I learned is to not eat losses. If you buy something like a shoulder support that's not the right size, bring it back. No one's going to be mad at you.
That was the big test, so we're going to see Foot, Arms and Hog. We'll see how much money I spent on the night out. I have 45 euros now in my account because I brought back that shoulder sling that didn't fit. So that's kind of cool. I haven't had to dip into my savings yet. I'm 1 week away from payday. Yesterday I bought a bag of popcorn for myself while I was in the shop. And today, on the way into work, I had to go collect stuff from my parcel motel, and then while I was in the garage, I bought orange juice and a breakfast bar because I was running tight and I knew that I would miss breakfast and work. So not too bad, but also not quite no spend. This has really curbed my spending, being mindful about this. So I think I'm going to keep this up in a lot of ways.
Right smack bang in the middle of this month, I got invited to go to Galway to be on an Irish language TV show. And I obviously was not going to turn this down because I was doing a no spend month. So I put 50 euro petrol, money that I borrowed from Alex, into the car, popped off to Galway, realised on the way back I didn't have enough money to get back, borrowed more money from Alex, and then, and it was just a nightmare. That is fair enough. Like, I wanted to do it, it's good for me, it's good for my career, blah, blah, blah. But I did unfortunately have a break in resolve on the way home.
Pomegolas jocks. Spáfin fána knish. Caime. Tom is bideo. Caime dolas jocks in Spáfin fána.
Narrator. She did not need to go into the Spalpeen Fána.
Arrow Marivlite. Marivgane.
I could have driven past on Spalpeen Fána. Like, I definitely could have. But how often am I in Spittle? Do you know what I'm saying? I learned a lot about myself in this challenge. I learned that I am weirdly adept at creative accounting.
Okay, so I made that so difficult for the poor guy in there. I ordered on the website through PayPal, and then he had to give me back the postage charge. But actually that worked out because I have 10 euro cash in my purse. And I have what I wanted, so I'm happy.
So I was driving home to Galway, didn't think I'd have enough petrol to get home, only had a tenner on me, went into the Spalpeen Fána, got them to let me pay for the stuff online, which charged you a 10 euro postage fee. They gave the postage fee back to me in cash change, and then I had enough for petrol home. Creative accounting.
Actually, that worked out because I have a tenner in my purse now, and if my petrol runs out, I'll be able to get back to Dublin. So look, it all works out in the end. Keep some money randomly in PayPal and it will all work out in the end, even if you can't get it out in any sort of quick way whatsoever.
I also learned that I have limited self-control. I can control or stop around 70% of my tertiary spending. Then my resolve starts to crack.
I've decided to reward myself with a coffee from the McDonald's drive-thru. Yeah, okay, I'm a bad person. Just fucking lock me up and throw me away the key. Throw me away the key.
I also learned that I have limited patience with being miserable.
Consultant yesterday as well told me that I had to buy 2 different sprays that I haven't bought because I don't have any money. Is this month ever going to end? How is it only the 31st? How many weeks has been in January? Like 20.
I do have to actually pick one bone with the universe. I had just gotten paid after a month of misery, right?
Stopped at a petrol station just there to spend my €5 change on a little bit of petrol. But I pulled up and realised I had actually been paid. It is the last week of January. This nightmare is also almost over.
And the very next day, a charity shop came into my work to sell their wares. Now, I don't know if you know this about me, but I love charity shopping. How am I supposed to resist that? I'd like to see any of you get your favourite thing brought into your work and go, no thank you, because I have self-control. Like I was controlled enough to only spend €50.
So I got paid Wednesday and today is Friday and I've been spending like a motherfucker. Last night online I clicked an Instagram link and ended up buying headbands. Today I went to Incrediwear and I bought this wrap for my shoulder, which in fairness I do need, but you know, it's not in the spirit of the no spend. I had to pay my car tax today, so I actually only paid it for 3 months, so it's only 50 quid rather than 200 quid. I need to book flights for something I'm planning on going on in May, and I need to book flights now because it's only 50 quid. No spend months really don't take that into account. It's actually crazy, man. I don't know how I have been living like this. I obviously just haven't been paying attention.
I also realised that I cause myself more hassle with the way that I manage my finances. So I did have to pay for a trip that I'm taking later in the year this month, and I had to pay it in full because I did not make use of the installment plan and program that was provided to me. That one's on me. I'm trying to do now going forward is to put away money when I know a big bill is coming up. I have it in my Google Calendar when my car insurance, for example, is up, and I'm trying to put away money every month so that I don't have this huge expense that month that then causes me to go wildly over budget and then take money out of my savings. Revolutionary, I know. Another thing I learned about myself in this video is that I possibly drink too much Red Bull and eat too much popcorn. Take a shot for every time I've mentioned buying those things in this video. Don't do that. You'll be in hospital.
And then I bought a Red Bull and a packet of popcorn with the change. Oh, I know!
Maybe need to do a no Red Bull month. Yeah, it's sugar-free, okay? It's not bad for you. Before I totted up the totals for the month, I was like, I'm never doing a no spend month again. It's not worth it. There is a level of living that I really need to be doing in order to justify for me working. However, I did the tally and it shocked me. It really did. It shocked me at how much I spent while I was really mindful of my spending. So Jesus Christ, how bad was December? I'm not going to get into the minutiae of my bills, if you don't mind, because I'm Irish and we're real weird about that stuff. But I will say that I did take €400 out of my savings in order to make it to payday. When I got paid, I put that €400 back into my savings and took it out again before the end of the month. So if I keep this up, I won't have any savings left. Every week Alex pays for the shop and I pay him half of it back. But I also know that Alex loans me money on the regular and I pay back to him in chunks. So what I should really do is stop borrowing money from my husband. That is something that's very clear to me from tracking my spending for this month. I'm glad I did it. I think I needed to curb my tertiary spending for a month. While I didn't manage to totally stop it, I did manage to seriously cut it down. I didn't buy a single thing online for the whole month. Go me. And I think I probably wouldn't have got through the month without further decimating my savings without having done this. That being said, I hated it and it sucked. And while I think that the no debt community on Instagram is great, I also think it's just another way for Instagram to make me feel absolutely shit about myself. Because not only am I not a model in some far-torn, amazing looking travel place, I am also unable to do a no-spend month. So fuck me, right? However, I would advise anyone to try this that is interested in trying it. I do think it's made me look at my spending habits. It has made me this month think twice before I spend stuff, and I feel like I do have a better handle on my spending having done this. It is now the end of February and I have only bought one thing online, which is like, yeah. I also have not drank as much Red Bull this month. Jesus Christ, when I'm editing this, I can't believe how much I talked about Red Bull. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that it was interesting and not just a completely unnecessary overshare. Let me know what video you'd like to see next, because I'm working on a few. Seachtain na Gaeilge is coming up, so I have a couple of Irish language vlogs on their way out. Otherwise, I have 2 video ideas here that I'd like you to vote on which one you'd rather see next. Save me working on the wrong one first. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.